Good morning to one and all. My name is Ravi Kumar. I am going to teach you the subject electromagnetic field theory. So this subject is very important for electrical engineering students. Basically, you have circuit theory and electromagnetic field theory. These two subjects are very important for electrical engineering students because these two are fundamental subjects for electrical engineering students. That means without studying these two subjects, you cannot study a power system, power electronics, machines, control system, or whatever may be the subject in the electrical engineering branch. Okay, so that means a complicated electrical network can be solved by using circuit theory approach or electromagnetic field theory approach. So a complicated electrical network can be solved by using circuit theory approach or electromagnetic field theory approach. So let us see the difference between circuit theory approach and electromagnetic field theory approach. So if you solve this electrical network by using circuit theory approach is very easy. Okay, circuit theory approach is very easy, but it will not give you the exact results. But if you solve the network using electromagnetic field theory approach, that is complicated, somewhat complicated, but it gives you exact results. Okay, and by using circuit theory approach, if you solve the electrical networks, we have variables like voltage, current, power, etc. Here in the field theory approach, we have the variables electric field intensity, magnetic field intensity, electric flux density, like that. So by using circuit theory approach, so it is very easy, but it will not give you exact results. But EMF theory is complicated, but it will give you exact results. So, and not only that one, the circuit theory approach is limited to only the frequencies up to 1 gigahertz. If the supply frequency is less than 1 gigahertz, you can apply circuit theory approach. If it is more than 1 gigahertz, you cannot apply circuit theory approach. So if it is more than 1 gigahertz, you need to go for electromagnetic field theory approach. And circuit theory approach is applicable to network consisting of lumped elements. Okay, not applicable to distributed elements. But field theory approach of solving an electrical network is applicable to the network consisting of lumped as well as distributed elements. So lumped as well as distributed elements. Okay. So first of all, what is the difference between lumped elements and distributed elements? So lumped elements and distributed elements, let us see. So the difference between lumped and distributed elements. So lumped elements means, if the network consisting of lumped elements means, so you have basically passive elements, resistors, inductors, capacitors. If the network consisting of resistors, inductors, capacitors, and individually you can see the resistors, inductors, capacitors, then that is called as lumped electrical network. Suppose a networking consisting of resistor, inductor, capacitor, but individually if you can't see the elements, then that is called as a distributed network. For example, you consider you go to lab, you can see the resistor, inductor, capacitor, like that. But if you consider a transmission line, transmission line. So transmission line is like this. Okay. Suppose you consider a single phase transmission line. It has resistance because the material having some resistive property, that's why it has resistance. It has inductance. It has capacitance. How capacitance is there? Because these two are conductors, in between the air medium is there. Okay. So what is meant by capacitance? Two conductive materials separated by a dielectric medium, then that will act as a capacitor. So it has resistance, inductance and capacitance. But these are distributed. That means if you take a small piece and if you want to differentiate between resistance, inductance, capacitance, if you want to see the individually where is the resistance, where is the inductance, where is the capacitance, you cannot see. So that is the difference between lumped elements and distributed elements. So electromagnetic field theory approach is applicable to the network consisting of lumped as well as distributed elements. Okay. So then first of all let us see how this subject is developed, what is the reason behind this one. Okay. So in the study of electromagnetic field theory, the scientist wants to find the force between force acting on a test charge due to the collection of source charges. That means the source charges are like this. Suppose you have a test charge. So these are the source charges. So they want to find the force acting on a test charge. So due to this source charges. So this force is a vector. So this problem they solved in three different ways. So in the first case, they assumed that the source charges are at rest. That means they are not moving. So test charge is always stationary. So source charges are not moving, they are stationary. So they want to find the force acting on test charge due to the collection of source charges which are at rest. Okay. So the charges at rest produces static magnetic field. So that's why this case can be referred as study of force acting on test charge due to the collection of source charges which are at rest. So because the charges at rest produces static electric field, that's why this case may be referred as the study of electrostatics. Okay. And in the second case, they assumed that source charges are at motion, uniform motion. So uniform motion means they are moving in one direction. So like this. So already the charges which are moving, when charges are moving they produce currents. So in the second case, they want to find the force acting on test charge due to this collection of source charges which are at uniform motion. So charges in uniform motion produces electric current. Whenever charges are moving, they produce electric current. So whenever charges are moving in uniform motion, they produce static magnetic field. Static magnetic field. Okay. static magnetic field, because when the charges are in uniform motion, so they produce static magnetic field. That's why the second case is we can say the study of magnetostatics. Magnetostatics. In the third case, they assumed that the charges are moving in random direction. Okay, so some random direction. So now they want to test the force acting on a test charge due to the collection of source charges which are at random motion. So charges in motion they produce currents. Charges in random motion they produce a time varying magnetic field. Time varying magnetic field. So that means in the third case we can say this is the study of a time varying magnetic field. That's why it is also called as an electrodynamics. Electrodynamics. So simple. So this is all about the study of electrostatics, magnetostatics and electrodynamics. So throughout this subject you study about these concepts only. Okay. So we'll continue in the next class.